Sharpenbarker, another outstanding episode of WrestleRoni. We're getting international, getting crazy again. Joining me today, all the way from Winnipeg, Manitoba, but man, he has quite a reputation in Mexico as well. Everybody, welcome to the show, my man, Sweet Daddy Soul. How you doing, my man?
Oh, I'm just really cold right now, as you said. I'm in Winnipeg, so freezing my beep off right now. So it's just yeah, I'm really cold, bro. Like honestly, I need like hot chocolate or something.
Hey man, you're on WrestleRoni now. If you gotta let them expletives out, you let them out, baby. That's what we're here for. This is therapy too. I promise. Hell yeah, man. I recently watched the ladder match from the recent CWE show. What a match. Let's just hop right into that. Honest to God, that's a hidden gem. Folks need to get on Cam's channel and watch that. How's that experience for you?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, I haven't worked with any of the guys in that match before, so that was an exciting experience for me. It's always nice to work with new talent and stuff like that. And it was actually my first time home in 5 years, so that was another really just rewarding moment for me to be able to perform in front of my friends and family. That had about close to 50 people at the show,
Mm-hmm.
and just a couple special things. I mean, my cousin was there, and his kids were there, and his one son is autistic, and sounds for that little guy is just really tough. And the wrestling environment can be quite intimidating, and I feel like the need to just say how happy I was and how gracious the guys were, and with the kids and stuff like that. There's like 370 people there, but just the way the performers and everybody on the show and just the professionalism and just the way they treat the kids. I mean, my cousin's little boy just had the best time, and really enjoyed himself, and he was quite surprised. Just didn't expect him to start yelling at the wrestlers, saying little cute things like, "Oh, that might be dangerous." I mean, you bring in little kids out of their shells, and you just they're having such a great time, and that's what I love about what we do out there is provide just really good different forms of entertainment. Depending on what our crowd is, everybody's adapting. That's really important in this day and age with the types of things going on in the world. We want to be very inclusive and make sure everybody feels happy and doesn't feel down, because I mean it's a tough world out there right now.
Exactly. And I'm glad you brought that up. Especially the kids, man. Making the kids smile, making 40-year-old, 50-year-old men act like kids. That's what it's all about, you know?
Oh yeah, everybody gets right into it. And that ladder match was definitely one of those kind of matches where the crowd was certainly engaged into all the moments and the crashes and the collisions, if you will,
Hmm.
that involved two ladders in that match, and five guys, just kind of just beating the crap out of each other. Uh, each trying to take the ladder to go up top. It was your classic. We're capture the flag, man. We're trying to get that belt. It was one of those really fun matches. I think anybody that was there definitely felt like they left with their money's worth watching that one, because just the reactions from the fans in that match were something that I'll definitely remember,
Hell
and the
yeah.
kids likewise.
Hey, I tell you what, I watched it for free. I feel like I owe all y'all some money, man. That was a great one. You have a wealth of
Well,
talent to
if you
work
got
with up there.
e-transfer down there, you can send it to Sweet Daddy Soul. Just kidding.
I tell you what, we'll put your cash app in the description, and
Oh
we'll
yeah,
see if
right.
my
You guys got
subscribers can
Cash
take
App.
care of
Yeah, I got to sign up on that. Sorry. Maybe 5 business days, please.
that. Yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah! I'm glad to have you on, man. I was going over your cage match. You've looks like you've been killing it since 2016. Am I right?
Yeah, I had my first match in Winnipeg. It was April 22nd of 2016. The night before, I did this like battle royal thing, but I was just kind of out there as a J Brown ref, and took my shirt off. Got eliminated. Woohoo! But the next day actually had like an actual match. It was like a challenge. So you basically it was me and two other guys that had to go up against a veteran guy who'd been around for about 22 years. I think he had been to Japan, um, and a couple other places. His name is Adam Knight.
Okay,
Um, but yeah, he's a local guy there, local wrestling legend, I guess, if you will, of the Manitoba scene.
for sure.
Uh, but yeah, so I had my first match with CW's at Rookie Sports Bar, but it was really fun, really cool experience. Everybody's first match, I think they say that. It's wild, man. You get to have that. It's just such an amazing experience. So, but
Hell
yeah,
yeah.
2016 since back then.
And speaking of battle royals, going through your match list, you can even lay claim to fame. I saw that you won a Stu Hart Memorial Battle Royal up in Canada.
Yeah, I won. Um, I think the title's name's been changed a couple of times with that promotion that I won it with. But yeah, it was a show for a company called Can-Am Wrestling that resurrected from the late '90s. They
Hmm.
had been around for about 7 years, I think, or 8 years. I might be mistaken.
Okay.
Maybe it's a little shorter or longer, depending. But nonetheless, yeah, it was the Battle Royal. A bunch of I guess Manitoba, some Saskatchewan guys, and Alberta guys. So three different provinces, and it was a really fun show. There was like 600 people there. It was really fun, and I got to be fortunate enough to win a belt that has Stu Hart's name bestowed on it, and I just got to carry it around for a little bit when I was in Mexico and stuff like that. And they're supposed to have another battle royal to kind of crown a new champion or have me kind of defend and stuff like that. But I actually ended up getting hurt, so I ended up
Mm.
just giving the title back. And I think yeah, I'm not even sure what's going on with that belt right now. But there's actually one that Harry Smith has, the British Bulldog,
Hmm.
or the British Bulldog's son, I should say.
Hmm.
And he has the Stu Hart Heritage title. That's an original one. I mean, that was fought between him and Teddy Hart. And that's a belt that's with Dungeon Wrestling right now. It's actually a company that's been resurrected by the Harts in Calgary, ran by his, I believe, his sons and Brett as well. So that title is actually the title. So I'm not going to say that that kind of the one that I won didn't have credibility or anything, but I would say that there already was the Stu Hart Heritage Championship as opposed to this memorial one that was made. But that was Davey Boy Smith Jr. As belt, and yeah, I would say that one should be recognized as the Stu Hart actual title. So I will set the record straight, brother.
Hell yeah. We're getting the facts here on WrestleRoni.
Exactly. I'll give you the right facts
Straight
because
shooter.
I'm not going to tell you some story that's not true.
We'll take
So,
those two as long as they're interesting and
honorable,
entertaining.
the Nick Aldis actually holds that title right now. So there's
Oh.
another little quick fact. If you're actually looking to see what's going on with the Hearts, what they're doing with wrestling again, go check out Dungeon Wrestling on Facebook and Instagram, man. They're doing some really cool shows. They're back in the pavilion where the Stampede Wrestling was, and they're putting on some really good shows. They got a couple really big stars over there, like this guy Mo Jabari's making it up big on the scene. Kid Chocolate's his name, and then they got Raj Singh, Gama Singh Jr.'s son, who's Gama Singh Jr. is a former Stampede
Hmm.
wrestler. There's also Davey Boy Smith Jr. Obviously, is involved. Brian Pillman Jr. is involved in that company. So, kind of a resurrection of some Stampede, ties there in a lot of ways. So, yeah, definitely look out for that company going up in the Stu Hart Heritage title held by Nick Aldis right now in his feud with Davey Boy Smith Jr.
Hell yeah. I appreciate you bringing that to my attention. I'm going to be looking into them because I'm I'm very interested in what's going on up on your scene in Canada, and I'm very interested. I've watched Lucha Libre for as long as I can remember, and to see that you had a stint in Mexico for some of my favorite feds down there, IWRG, AULL. How does one from Canada find themselves in Mexico?
Well, they I think what they do is they go online and use that website called Google, and just mess with you, brother. Straight up, I was like always checking out Mexico. My first trainer, AJ Sanchez, he was a guy that went down to Mexico, and he was down there with AAA and Conan, and done a bunch of indie shows. Worked a few shows for AAA. AJ Sanchez works for CWE Wrestling, Canadian Wrestling's Elite in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
A little shout out for him. He's trained quite a few guys, actually. There's quite a few guys that he's trained also that are bouncing around in the States. Maybe even probably be around your guys' areas. I mean, there's a guy named Kevin O'Doyle. There's a guy named Bobby Shank. I mean, Danny Duggan, Mentolo. There's a whole bunch of guys that have gone down to the areas that you're in over there, and worked as well too. So definitely keep an eye out for those guys. They're all very talented workers.
I'm a fan of all
Um,
those men you mentioned, so hell yeah, it's
hey,
a
there
good
you
group.
go. Exactly. So, I mean, they're very talented. So yeah, definitely keep an eye on those guys.
Don't you have a match either coming up or a recent match with Mentello?
Yeah, I actually just had one with them last weekend. We had a really uh I was a Clash of Styles match. It was a lot of fun, you know what I mean? And Mental ended up getting the better of me in the end, but it was a match I'll definitely never forget. I mean, it was one of my favorite matches I've ever had in my career, bar none.
Well, don't get down on yourself. Mentello getting the best of everybody
Hey,
recently.
I got to tag with them the next night against Cannon Corporation, O'Doyle and Sean Martins, and we got the victory, and we had a little dance off at the end with the fans. So you know what, victory was handed the night after. So I'll take that.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. So I want to know about this Mexico. You was down there for a minute. Just tell me first, as far as the getting used to the culture, and I don't want to. I don't know if it was culture shock. I wasn't in your shoes.
Oh
How was it
yeah.
for you initially going down there?
I mean, it's culture shock in every way, shape, or form. I mean, streets look different. I mean, this new language. I mean, it's a new currency. It's new phone numbers. Um, you know, there's so many things that just are like going on at the same time when you first get there. And you're just like, okay, this is that. I've never heard of this restaurant before. What's this over here? They're selling cigarettes on the street. What is this? There's all this stuff going on at once. And I mean, and when you're walking around Mexico, there's so much music. So I mean, that's a great distraction too. 'Cause it's always good music.
That's cool.
But yeah, culture shock totally. It's nothing like where I'm from. It's also very nice and warm, so I'm not freezing.
Hmm.
And they don't skate there because there's no ice.
Oh,
So
okay.
there's all kinds of different things, you know what I mean, that are just Mexico doesn't have, and I'm Canadian. I'm just like, whoa, so well they don't have this or they don't have that, and it's interesting, you know, just the different little things that you go from Canada to America. We got a lot of the same things, you know what I mean? I mean, our cultures from Canadian to American in many ways. There's the same foods, the same sauces. I mean, different types of foods and stuff like that. You would go out to a restaurant, like basically have the same menus. We have the same chains in the same countries. So,
Hmm.
but Mexico, you get something that's a little bit different. Like there's the street food, and then there's these other different type taquerias that you can go to, and I mean just the kinds of things that can happen with that is you can get really really sick.
I've heard. Yeah.
And that's a whole another story in itself, and every person will tell you they got their own, like, I got sick in Mexico stories. So
Montezuma's
for me there's
Revenge.
always a lot of that, and I just enjoyed and embraced every second of all the things that came to me and came right to my face, and then I had to deal with or make decisions about, like, oh well, maybe I'm not gonna eat that again. It tastes really good, but and it's funny. Mexico is a very beautiful place. Everybody's really friendly. You know what I mean? It's very family oriented and stuff like that. So just being able to go and experience their culture is like something that I think is gonna stick with me for the rest of my life. I mean, I speak Spanish now, and my wife's Mexican, and We have a baby that's due actually in 2 months. So
Oh,
yeah,
congratulations.
thank you. Yeah, appreciate that.
For sure, for sure. That's awesome. That's awesome. You got to experience that through pro wrestling, man.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
amazing. One thing, and I'm so glad I have you on the show because I've been dying to ask somebody this for years, and you're going to be the lucky one. So you can tell me to fuck right off, or you can answer the question and I'll learn. Um,
Sure.
Something that's always intrigued me, especially with such a fast-paced style as lucha libre, is the language barrier. How do you guys get through these spots? 99% watching it on TV, it comes off flawlessly. How does that happen with the language barrier?
Hmm. Yeah, that's a very good question. Because I think that you know there's a lot of people in North America who just do not speak more than one language. They speak English, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, for me, I know that when I first got there, I know that it was very difficult for me. Um, but I had this willingness and this desire to do the best I could to communicate, to try to speak the language, and at least put my best foot forward to, you know, get somewhere with it every time I was around someone and I had an opportunity or something at training. I always tried to keep my ears open and my mouth shut.
Mm-hmm.
Something I learned from the first day I ever stepped foot in the ring. So, but for me, over time, I realized that okay, well, the more I'm around people that speak, this is going to be better, and I'm going to be able to learn, and that's the best thing I can do. Just put myself in the right environment to continue to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And I would just say that you don't necessarily have to speak somebody's language to communicate with them. I mean, we experience this in just daily life where, maybe somebody has a serious issue with speaking English or their words they're having some trouble with. I mean, we always, I think, as people try to help people through that anyways. So, I experienced a lot of just really nice people trying to help me
Okay.
anyway. So that was always, you could kind of find a way to communicate people with your hands and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you know, a fight's fight. You know what I mean? When you're
Mm-hmm.
out there, what are you doing? Like, you know what I mean? Like we're out there, we're not going to get each other's heads off. Just hey, I mean, watch my matches recently. I mean, you know what I'm talking about.
Right.
But like, uh, there's there's a legitimate battle going on in the ring these days, and you'll see that with some guys, but maybe it's coming across a little differently in other matches. And I think that's the best way I can just narrow it down without being rude in any kind of way.
I got
But
you.
like, um, I just, I believe in realism.
I got you. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah,
I'll take the tidbits I can from that. I got you.
yeah, and realism has its own communication, does it not?
For sure. For sure. And it definitely translates.
So,
So you say
yeah, I think that's where you put it.
most of the guys were helpful and happy to help you along the way and
Yeah, I
things.
mean, you know what I mean. This is hey, teamwork make the dream work. They say it all the time. It's just if you're trying to accomplish something, I think it always applies to life too. I mean, you don't just get it done all by yourself.
Right.
I think that applies to anything. I mean, in the great sport of professional wrestling, that also applies professional wrestling, lucha libre. I mean, football, hockey, baseball, and like these principles are just like exist in every facet of life,
Yep.
including sports and entertainment.
For sure. For sure. What about the fans? To me at least, watching Canadian wrestling as opposed to Mexican wrestling, the fans seem to buy it more. If from what I see, can you tell me a little bit of about the difference in the fans in Mexico as opposed to Canada?
Well, it's part of the culture in Mexico. I mean, to be a luchador is a great honor. and to earn that right to have you know the license and the mask and the tradition and the training from great professionals and legends. This is very very deep and embedded into uh, Mexican culture, and
Mhm.
this is something that they love as if it is their family.
Mm.
I mean, I've experienced many locker rooms, and it is a family. Like, everybody that's involved in this business of lucha libre is involved, and their family is involved, and it
Mm.
goes back, you know, probably a few generations most of the time, and it's like that pretty universally across the board. So, I mean, I'll give a shout out right now to the Moreno family. I mean, the dynasty of Moreno. I mean, Rena Azteca, Budokan, Esther Moreno.
Mhm.
Like my lucha mother and her brother El Oriental. I mean, they really took me in and treated me like gold and like family. So, that experience in itself really changed me as a professional, because I was told things by them that I was never told by anyone before that, because they really cared. You know what I mean?
Awesome.
And that's just a testament to the kind of people that they were. And I will also include, of course, Cynthia Moreno and her other sisters, Alda, and the mother of Hio de Dr. Wagner Jr.
Mhm.
I consider them all friends. Rossi Moreno, and the Wagner family, of course, tied into that with they're all just one big family, and like I got to work for them a lot. So I just like to say, like, they're a prime example of what lucha libre is really all about. I
That's
mean, that
awesome.
family has been all over the world and wrestled,
Yeah.
and I mean, the Wagner name obviously speaks for itself, and I mean, the Moreno name obviously speaks for itself.
Uh huh.
And that's yeah, it was a great honor to meet those people, and they're just the quintessential example of what it's all about down there.
That's awesome. And
Yeah,
don't get me wrong, I love my AAA, I love my CMLL, but turn me on some Moss Lucha on YouTube. The indies down
yeah,
there are just so wild. It's just
absolutely.
I it's just it's I don't want to say it's real. It is, but it's so grimy and it's just it's where it's at, man. It don't get no better.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's something special what's goes on in Mexico for sure.
So what did you take from your time in Mexico? What did you bring back to Canada with you, as far as your style, as far as your repertoire, anything? What did you try to bring back to Canada?
Uh wow, yeah, that's a good question. Well, I think at the end of the day, like when I left, I was like this sweet daddy soul character. I had these baggy pants. I had like a gold jacket
Hmm.
thing that was pretty long. So I kind of like, fans in Canada kind of like, if I was a heel, I remember I had like gay Aladdin chants, and yeah, those were yeah, probably not so good to be saying now. I mean, for sure, if they're saying that, that's not good. But at that point in time, they still thought it was acceptable. I didn't agree with it at all, but sometimes you got to accept certain things are being said. So
Hmm.
that was an experience that I had with this other look that I had with the same name prior to going to Mexico, and I brought that there. And
Okay.
then I had an addition that I made to my character where I added a gold hat, and that kind of like changed the dynamic of the character from being this guy that kind of looked like Sabu or Aladdin or Avatar or whatever they're calling me before, that didn't really have a full identity, but looked kind of cool, and I had some moves. So
Hmm.
athleticism always helps.
Right.
But going forward, I didn't really know who I was. Just trying to figure it out. So, I went down to Mexico and I did that and added the hat, and I started doing stuff with the hat. I mean, doing the rope walk with the hat has been something that's been coined for me. I mean, I don't recall ever seeing anybody else do that in pro wrestling. No offense to anybody or me trying to toot my horn. I'm just saying, like, I
Yeah.
just started doing that, and that was kind of like the one thing where I found that was unique, and I had never seen anybody do it, and I was like, I'm gonna do this. So that became part of my staple, and this dancing side of it kind of got inserted from doing the rope walk a little bit. So, and that's kind of like plays into me as a kid and who I am as a person anyway, what I do in my regular life on my own spare time. But things kind of like, just continued that way for, I would say, from the end of 2020 until 2022 last year, after I had 6.5 months off from getting right shoulder surgery.
Oh.
So I had that character, gold hat, baggy pants, yada yada. And basically, you go for surgery, you stop and try to reinvent yourself when you come back, right?
Mm-hmm.
And well, I would say now, from what happened right before I came back to Canada last year, I recovered in about June and started wrestling shows again in July in Mexico. And I just kind of overhauled the look a little bit, essentially, because I removed the black or the gold baggy pants.
Mm-hmm.
I removed the gold things that I had on. I removed the full white boots. I had removed the gold hat, and I had inserted a complete Pachuco gimmick from Jim Carrey's The Mask that I altered into the way that I wanted the look to be, but
Okay.
ultimately took something from that because of something I had seen on a Mexican television that I thought was really catchy,
Mm-hmm.
and that was this dancer named Tintan, and that really caught my attention the way he danced. And then I started watching Pachuco videos of these Pachucos dancing in the streets during these festivals, and I was like, I listened to the music, and I really was just kind of captivated by that. And I'd be damned if a whole overhaul didn't start happening to me. So I just kind of was just like, I kind of vibe with this a little bit more as like who I am in real life, or me with the volume turned up in ways and stuff like that. So I went that direction, and yeah, and coming up back up to Canada, um, it's just been kind of like this sense of, okay, I think I really understand who I am now, and I'm just gonna kind of keep going forward with that and keep doing what I can, keep doing what I've been doing. So it's been interesting to see the process of the character because, I came back up here and I'm spewing Spanish. I don't really care about the fact that I know most people are not going to understand all the words I'm saying,
Mm-hmm.
but I also incorporate English into it too. So they're starting to kind of understand. And it's really funny to hear them kind of react. And, I'll be damned. I mean, Canadians love going down to Mexico.
Okay.
So they really enjoy this excerpt of me making this character continue to be what it is in Mexico, not changing it. So
Mm-hmm.
just bringing an element of Mexico completely to Canada, where they've seen Jim Carrey's The Mask, and I'm giving them the Spanish and the dancing and all this stuff that they don't see like ever up here. So, I mean, I would say the character is completely universal to all of the culture of North America and Mexico because of the movies and stuff. But me bringing Spanish language with it and not veering my character off at all from what I had, decided to do with it there, I think has really been a cool experience. Maybe for some of the fans too, of me speaking Spanish, them getting to practice Spanish. And then you have the Mexican communities and the Spanish communities, all over Canada, and like especially in Winnipeg and in BC, Alberta. So having these people come out and being able to interact with me in their language, I know has been a really rewarding experience for them, because I mean, and I'm like, well, that's good because I'm really enjoying it. I actually like really love speaking Spanish. I mean, my wife's Mexican, so I'm
Yeah.
not having this little Spanish baby. Like, I mean, so for me, and then it just plays into everything I'm all about as a person, anyway. So I just have fun with it, man, and I think everybody else is kind of having fun with it too. So that makes me happy.
For sure. I mean, I see the reaction as soon as you come out the curtain, even if they don't know who you are. You doing that dance all the way down the ramp, all the way around the ring. First up, I'd be blown up coming down the ramp doing that damn dance. God bless you. I don't even know where to start with that. So
I'm sweating in my matches. You can tell.
I'm sure
I'm
that's a
always
hell of a way,
talking.
yeah, to get warmed up. Well, what we got to look forward to in 2023 or even in February? What's coming down the pike for you?
You know what? I'll be here. I'll be there. I'll try to be everywhere. But little baby's coming in April, so there will be some maybe more downtime for me for the next few months,
For sure.
and just focusing on my body and in training and getting prepared for more opportunities that are coming in the near future. But I think it's family time right now, so I'm more focused on that at this moment. But coming up in the summer, um, I'm definitely looking to be returning to some companies that I was working for in the past, but also be definitely debuting in some new ones. So
Hell
definitely
yeah.
stay tuned for that. The indie wrestling world's a big one right now. I mean, and you never know where you might see me pop up in the near future. That's for sure.
For sure. Got good, good. And I'd noticed you have your own YouTube channel, so I encourage the listeners look you up on YouTube. You got some matches there, and maybe some matches coming down the pike that'll be on there.
Yeah, definitely be adding a lot of my more recent stuff. I don't think I have really anything on 2022 up there. So anything that's the new Poppy Pachuco Sweet Daddy Soul gimmick is definitely going to be hard to find unless there it happens to be recently uploaded or is in Spanish, so it might be difficult to find. And I haven't re-uploaded as of yet. Of course, I am going to need to be getting on top of that so everybody can check it out. So, do expect to see more of that stuff soon. But as of right now, there is only stuff I think from previous Pachuco gimmick. So, and that's definitely the stuff you want to keep your eyes on. That's what I'm up to right now, and not the stuff I wasn't doing before wasn't fun and all that, but I'm always trying to get better. So keep your eyes on what I'm doing in the todays.
For sure, for sure. And I appreciate more than you know that you're planning on taking this downtime for the baby coming up. A recent friend of mine and also pro wrestler just recently had a kid and doing the same thing. You got loves, man. I love pro wrestling. I miss my kids when I'm on the road, and it's so hard to balance that. And as much as you love pro wrestling, there is no balance. Your kids should come first. They grow up so fast. My oldest is 19. I can't believe it. So
Yeah, there
I
you
wish
go.
you luck with that. But remember,
Thank you.
the kids, wrestling will be there, man. So,
Absolutely. Yeah, I have a 13-year-old as well.
mhm.
She's been in the ring. She was around for my first training session and first shows and you name it. So she's actually been in the ring. She's got a little bit of skill too. So you might be seeing, little second generation sweet daddy kids coming up in the near future soon too. So
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, sweet mommy.
yeah, well, something anyway. I don't know if I think sweet mommy might be taken to by my wife. You know what I mean? So my daughter can make her own name, have fun with
There you go,
it.
dude. Just go off a whole different
She
direction.
wants her own identity anyway. I mean, I would like to see her do what she would like to do. She don't need to attach herself to old pops. I'll probably be out of date and just way out of touch by the time she's real serious with it. Anyways, she'll be making fun of me. So you know how it goes.
Oh yeah, man. In 5 years, you're gonna be out of touch.
Yeah,
Shit.
it's it. It's over. I won't have no communication skills. Just be like, yes, Marissa. No, Marissa. Okay, Marissa. I love you. Okay, good night. You know how it is. That's it.
For sure. Believe me.
Teenagers. That's it. That's it.
Oh man. Oh, it's hell. God bless you. Yep,
Yeah.
I understand if anybody does. Believe me.
Exactly. You definitely do.
But oh, I couldn't be happier for you, man. You got a little one coming. Looks and from what I've seen, you've killed it in Mexico. Definitely made a name for yourself down there. The Canada scene where you're at, more eyes need to be on it. I mean, you guys are drawing great crowds. I mean, as far as internationally, people should be checking this out. However they can, man. You just gotta dig. If you want to find good wrestling, you gotta dig sometimes. And
Yeah, definitely.
props
I
to
totally agree.
props to everybody. Props to Cam Ross for uploading the footage, getting it
Yeah.
on YouTube, and
Yeah,
it's just
well, I mean, just a shout out. I mean, I'm not sure if you have seen the shows yet, but WPW, Winnipeg Pro Wrestling, I debuted for them the night before the CWE show on January 27th. It was actually
okay.
January 26th. I got off the plane from Vancouver, and it was about 5:30 when I got off the plane. I went over to my aunt's with my wife and dropped her off, and I got a text, and it was to head over to the West End Cultural Center downtown Winnipeg so I could potentially make a debut for this show. And WPW, a complete sellout.
Mm,
They had some wrestlers from everywhere, kind of thing. I mean, Masha Slamovich and Jody Threat were the headliners that night.
nice.
Two pretty well known female wrestlers on the independent circuit, Impact Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was the headliners, and I mean, a complete sellout. I mean, that place was crazy. I mean, there's a link on my Facebook on my Soul Poppy Pachuco Facebook profile.
Mm-hmm.
There's a link there for the WPW match I had with James Roth, who was one hell of an opponent. He actually ended up getting the better of me that night, my debut, but it was a really good match. He was a really good opponent, and I look forward to getting back in there and getting some revenge on him. But definitely check that out. Big shout out to the crew at WPW and management, ownership, all that. They're putting on some really amazing shows. I would say definitely the toast of the town in the pro wrestling scene right now in Winnipeg is Winnipeg Pro Wrestling, and what they're doing is just unbelievable.
You guys have a lot of good quality wrestling promotions up there, man. CWE, you just mentioned WPW. Primo's smaller, but killing it as well. We could go on all day, but it's a hell of a scene.
Oh,
So
I mean, the Alberta scene's pretty huge too. I mean, geez, just over in Calgary, you got Real Canadian Wrestling owned by Stephen Waschuk. You got Canada Wrestling. You got Monster Pro Wrestling. You got Love Pro Wrestling. You got Top Talent Wrestling. Um, and I mean, some shows have a higher production value than others. I mean, Top Talent Pro Wrestling is a really nice setup and a really nice venue, and they got some really talented guys there. I mean, there's just so much going on there. I mean, PPW is not too far away from Calgary, and they're just south. That's owned by Sydney Steel, and I mean that's a really good company down there too. BC scene. I mean, you got New Evolution Wrestling or New Extreme Wrestling. Sorry. You got Boom Pro Wrestling. You got All Star Wrestling, who's been around forever. I mean, WrestleCore is really just making huge waves in the wrestling scene right now in Vancouver. WrestleCore, you got to check them out on YouTube. I mean, you want to see some matches, you want to see some stars in Lucha Libre, you want to see integrating the Mexican community into these shows, you go check out WrestleCore and what
okay.
they're doing, because I think they're kind of almost changing the game a little bit, the way of putting on shows up there. Cobra Kai, big shout out to Cobra Kai and what he's doing up there, man. He's a machine.
Hell yeah.
That guy's putting on amazing shows and giving guys opportunities and after opportunities to just go out there and showcase what they got in front of these big crowds and these overly excited fans, which just we all love to work in front of that. So
That's awesome. Definitely going to check them out. They're out of around the Vancouver area, right?
yes, yeah, that's over on BC, Vancouver area. So yeah, just a great scene over there as well.
Good. Couldn't be happier for you, man. That's awesome. And I promised
Yeah.
you I wouldn't keep you long because I know you're a busy man. We're going into the final stretch. My final question to every guest I have: what bit of advice can you give to up and coming talent or just your average Joe on the streets? What's worked for you and you think may work for them? Anything you can pass along. And in the meantime, please feel free to sell whatever you want to sell, plug whatever you want to plug, get it out there so folks know where to find you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, to answer your question, um, as far as advice goes, I mean, if we're trying to get into the wrestling industry, just remember, to take care of your body, take care of your mind, take care of your spirit. I mean, anything that's physical or physically demanding is going to require a lot of dedication and a lot of discipline. So, and if you
Mm-hmm.
don't have it, it's going to be really tough. It's going to be a struggle. So, definitely, just consider that if you're going to get into it. Doesn't matter how big or small or size or what you look like. All apply. I mean,
Mm,
everybody's got something to offer. At the end of the day, maybe sometimes it doesn't come down to being in the ring. Maybe it comes down to helping out somewhere else. And the wrestling industry needs more good people that are willing to put their skills into places and roles that can help the business thrive. So anybody getting involved into it, just go into it with a good frame of mind and knowing that you can offer in more ways than one. And I mean, just because you're a wrestler for like say 10 years, maybe you're a ring announcer for the next five, maybe you're a promoter,
yeah.
So just try to understand that the love for the business goes across all facets. If you really love it, then go love it. Go be a part of it because everything you do, you're going to learn how to do so many different things by being around so many different people, have experience in so many different areas. This is why when people are done doing things one way, I mean, they come back and do things another way. I mean,
Right. Yep.
it applies to life, everything else that goes on in life. So that'd be my advice to anybody. I mean, or anybody that's even a wrestler now. I mean, to go back to stage one if you're really upset with yourself or the way things are going. I mean, it's a tough business at the end of the day where our bodies hurt, our minds hurt. Sometimes we put ourselves in predicaments, make mistakes, things happen. So sometimes you need some time away, just focus on yourself and, just trying to line up everything that's going on in your life so that you can enjoy the job, enjoy the work. And I mean, stay positive. That's all you can really do. I mean, that applies to life, not just getting in the business, but you get in the business, expect life to feel like it's moving a lot faster. So,
Yeah, right.
yeah. But yeah, that's I think that's what I would say to any of the viewers that are looking to get in the business, or if I have any advice for like guys that are in the business now, stuff like that. Just remember, like let's uh let's try not to all be baby faces out there, eh?
Okay.
Uh, let's remember that like we can work together and do great things. The way this business is designed to do great things, and let's all try to help each other and respect each other and not do things to hurt each other. Because at the end of the day, our lives are our lives, and one bump the wrong way, one move the wrong way, and we could have our lives taken from us. So
Yo.
let's always keep that in perspective. I think that's really important. And rest in peace to Jay Briscoe and what happened to him and his family. I
Yeah.
mean, that's just a prime example of a great man, great legend, guy who just did everything the right way. And he's not with us anymore. God rest his soul and his family and everybody that lost him and that was close to him. Like I felt so bad to see that, and uh, I think that just should help other wrestlers. Like we see what happened to Jay. Like put it in perspective. Like life's really short.
Yep.
Sometimes you gotta keep that in perspective. So just try to be good to each other and try to have a good life. Because you never know when it's gonna end.
You're exactly right. I appreciate that more than you know. Be good to each other. Have fun while you're doing it, and it's not hard, man. Just it's the way it should be. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. Where can the folks find you on social media? If they want to buy a T-shirt, where can they go? I got to give you something for the time you've given me, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I appreciate that. So Soul dash Poppy Pachuco on Facebook. It's bracketed. It says Sweet Daddy there, but Facebook don't let you say.
Yeah.
Facebook ain't letting me use Sweet Daddy Soul as my name, so I'm just working with what they're giving me. So, but you can get at me on there. I got my matches being posted, different events that I'm on. What I'm doing over the next couple months, stuff like that. And then Instagram, Sweet Daddy Soul. You can find me on there. Always got my stories pretty active, things that I'm up to, where I'm wrestling next, highlights, stuff like that. So you can hit me up on there. I got TikTok now. You can hit me up on TikTok. It's Soul Poppy Pachuco as well on TikTok. So I'm on there doing the same thing, updating some stories and some TikToks. So yeah, you can find me there. And if you're looking to book me, sweetdaddysoul@gmail.com, or you can hit me up on my page, Soul Poppy Pachuco. And definitely looking forward to hitting up some new promotions in the United States and stuff like that. So definitely hit me up.
You hear that, Brett Lauderdale? Let's get him down here. I want Sweet Daddy against Vikingo at spring break, damn it.
Oh, goo. Hio del Vikingo.
Oh my, killing it.
Oh, it's a good
Why
friend of
not?
mine.
And
Not
hey,
sure if
Kota Ibushi's coming over for it too. Let's go ahead and throw him in the match as well. Why not?
No. I would love that.
A man can dream, by God. It's not far fetched, man. You're a talented dude. Can't thank you enough for coming on, and hopefully have you back in the future so you can tell us some more stories.
Thanks a lot, brother. Appreciate you too, man.
Hey, I appreciate you. I'll keep you on here for just a second after I let the listeners go. But to my listeners, hey, you heard the man. Just treat each other fairly. Stay positive. But hey, don't take no shit. Go out there and live your dreams for old Spooky Lou. Tune into the next episode, the next one. We're just cranking them out left and right. I love you. It's been Sweet Daddy Soul here with Spooky Lou on the WrestleRoni. Why don't you go do something with your life now? Peace out.
jacket. That's what you get for not Walk it out. Walk it out. This is what this is.